Producers are looking for the right studio or production company to finance their film. In order to confidently discuss a project, a producer needs to control the option to the underlying work, such as a book or a screenplay. In this video, I want to share 3 elements every producer should pay close attention to in connection with option agreements. As discussed in the last video, option agreements are essential during the development phase of an entertainment project. For producers, they should focus on these 3 elements to protect their interests. First, the no rescission or injunctive relief clause. While it may seem like boilerplate language, this clause is crucial for producers' protection. This clause should state that all rights granted to the producer shall irrevocably be vested in them, and that no breach by producer would entitle the writer to equitable or injunctive relief. The writer's sole remedy should only be actual money damages. Producers need this clause in case they or a third-party licensee breach the agreement with the writer. Without this clause, a writer could ask a court for an injunction, meaning production could be suspended or the finished film may be prohibited from being shown in theaters. Any of those injunction scenarios would be disastrous to producers who may have already paid the writer the full purchase price for the rights and have invested significant resources into the development and production of the picture. In addition to ensuring the writer's sole remedy should be actual money damages, producers should make sure they and their successors, assigns, and licensees have the right to injunctive relief to prevent or cure any breach by the writer. If you are a producer, you need to make sure this clause is considered non-negotiable. By having a strong no rescission injunctive relief clause, producers can feel confident that when they have fully produced the picture, there won't be an injunction from an unhappy writer. The second element to focus on is a right to make changes clause. This clause is very important for producers, especially if the work is a novel and has not been converted to a screenplay format. In most instances, elements of a novel need to be changed to better fit the big screen, and so this clause protects producers in securing that editorial power. The right to make changes clause essentially states that the writer agrees to the producer having the unlimited right to dramatize the work. This allows the producer or producer screenwriter to change the work. Sometimes this means a complete change, or sometimes it means that they slightly alter a character or storyline in the work with the hope the change will be better suited for television or film audiences. The third element to focus on is the reversion clause. A reversion clause traditionally states that if a producer fails to commence principal photography within a set number of years after the producer has exercised the option, then the rights to the work shall revert back to the writer. The reversion clause is usually included at the writer's request. While the clause may seem to benefit the writer, who may be upset that principal photography has not commenced and would like to find another buyer, if the reversion clause is drafted correctly, it can actually favor and benefit the producer. If a producer cannot take the picture into principal photography, the producer needs to make sure his reversion clause is thorough. The reversion clause ensures that if a new buyer comes along to produce the work, the writer or new buyer must first reimburse the producer for all the costs the producer has incurred under the option agreement. If drafted right, the reversion clause can actually benefit producers who poured a lot of their resources into the picture and just were not able to get the stars aligned for principal photography. It is also a nice consolation, especially if the new buyer and writer will go on to reap the rewards on a subsequent picture that, through your development efforts, may have gotten off the ground. As a producer, focus on these 3 key elements in the option agreement. They will protect you from future lawsuits and/or loss of development financing. In my next video, I will address the 3 key elements in the option agreement for writers to focus on. Stay tuned.